Hi, I'm Stuart from the Norfolk Honey Company and welcome to another Beekeeping Basics. Today we're going to take a look at the nucs that we've got in one of our apiaries. It's an update that we've been doing throughout the year. If you want to take a look at the earlier updates, we'll put a link in above so that you can have a look at that. And what we're going to do is feed some pollen substitute to these as well. So we're going to use some pollen substitute in some takeaway cartons, which I'll show you in a moment, and hopefully they'll go straight onto the colony without any mess. So let's go across to the hives and take a look. Okay, so we're going to pop some pollen substitute onto the full-size colonies first. So this is the Bee Pro dry pollen substitute that we've been using for a few of our colonies, and we thought we'd use it here as well because we've got some colonies that we want to build up in order for queen rearing early in the season. Now we've mixed it up and put it into these little takeaway containers, and they're really useful. It holds around 900 grams of the pollen substitute, and you can take the lid off and it sits quite nicely inside the container. The container will also keep it from drying out, and we're going to pop this over the feed hole directly above where the bee cluster is, and we're also going to see if we can show you what a bee cluster looks like in the winter. At the moment the temperature is around 4 or 5 degrees. It's very overcast, so it's not very bright, and most of the bees are actually in the cluster, so it'll be good to be able to show you what a cluster looks like. You hear me talking about it quite a lot, but I don't think we've actually shown you yet. So we'll bring the camera down onto this colony and just take a look to see if we can see the cluster. Okay, so we'll just gently take the lid off, put the crownboard, and let's just see. So this is a very small colony, and here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seams of bees. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put the pollen substitute directly above the bees, and in this particular crownboard we're fortunate in that we've got a feed hole just here. So before they get too lively, we've taken the lid off and we're just going to turn the pollen substitute upside down and pop it over the feed hole. And that's it. It's a really straightforward process. You don't disturb the bees too much, and we can get the lid on and the bees are fine for a few weeks. And we'll come back and check those in a few days' time just to make sure they're taking it down. So here we've got a much bigger cluster, and the bees are a lot livelier, so we're going to shut them up fairly quickly. Just turn the crownboard round, and then we can get the pollen substitute on the feed hole nice and quickly, and the bees are going to get into that very quickly. Another good cluster, so we'll get the feed onto these nice and quickly and not disturb them. We don't want to disturb the bees too much. Okay, so here we've got 2 of the nucs that we've strapped together over winter to help provide warmth for them. And we're expecting that the cluster in here for each one is going to be close to this centre line. So we're going to take the lid off and just have a look to see where the cluster is, and again we're going to pop some pollen substitute on them. Okay, so we'll just get the pollen substitute ready for them. Let's take a look at number 24 first. And here we are, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 good seams of bees there, so we'll close them up quickly because we don't want to disturb them. And then we get the pollen substitute on them straight away. So you could see that the cluster was very much towards the centre and there was nothing over at the far side. So let's have a look at this one. And this is exactly the same. Good healthy looking bees. Just pop that on there. Bees all coming up. Just ease them back in. And there we are. So this colony we've left on its own. It'll be interesting to see how well they're doing as a single nucleus colony without the warmth and support of another colony that's been strapped closely to it. So we'll take the lid off and have a look. They might be perfectly fine, they might be a little bit light on bees, but we'll take the lid off and we'll have a look inside. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3 seams of bees here, but there's bees in there and they're active, so that's good. And we'll get the pollen substitute on those. Pop the lid on. So this was an old feeder. It's a small kind of 1 pint feeder that we've obviously forgotten to take off, and it fits really well on these particular nucs. And you can get these, they're called a contact feeder, and you can get them in a range of different sizes. And the lid back on. Okay, so another one of our nucs that's been strapped together. A quick look in. Decent cluster here. So we'll just try and ease this lid back down before they get too lively. I don't want to disturb them too much and trap them in between, so we'll just pop the pollen substitute on these bees. Plenty of bees there, so that's all good. Happy with that, and they're obviously doing well being connected together. Okay, and this is the last pair of nucs that we're going to be popping some feed on. We'll have another quick look, so we'll do this one first. And we've got a nice little cluster here, 1, 2, 3, 4 seams of bees in there, so that's good. Get some food on them. And then this side, again, plenty of bees. And it'll be good to get the food on those as well. So that's really good, I'm pleased with those. Okay, so I'm not going to open the crownboard, but you can see the cluster of bees in the centre here. And so we're going to just pop the pollen substitute over those, and then I'll pop the lid over the other hole here. And that's excellent. Okay, so that's all of these colonies in this small apiary fed with pollen substitute. They're all looking really well, lots of bees in all of the boxes, and now that we've got the pollen substitute onto them, I'm confident that they're going to have enough stores to get them through into the spring, and they should now develop a larger brood nest earlier, which will help them with the colony strength in the spring. So we'll leave it there. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. Give us a thumbs up, and if you've got any comments, please do leave them down below, and we'll catch up again next time. Thanks for watching.